And yet, you got Hebrew Israelites teaching that reincarnation is in the Bible. That started with pagan Babylon and Nimrod. But look what else it says right here. It says he became identical with Merodach. Now, we're going to go, I also got this off the internet. We're going to go to the Tyndale's New Bible Dictionary under the heading Merodach. Look what it says. Merodach, the Hebrew form of the Babylonian divine name Marduk. Marduk was the primary deity of Babylon and was later called by his epithet Baal or Baal. Baal, the same Baal you read about in the Bible, who Israel kept on worshiping after God told them not to, Baal was Nimrod. That was the name they gave to Nimrod, Baal. So actually, the Freemasons are worshiping Baal. And if you look up Baal, it'll tell you he was the sun, S-U-N, God. Maybe now you understand why in these Freemason temples and behind their symbol, you know, with the compass and the square, with the G in the middle, there's a sunburst symbol. Because that's who they are worshiping. They're worshiping Nimrod, Marduk, Merodach, the sun god. And when this legend moved to Egypt, the names changed. Now it's no longer about Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Now it's Horus, Isis, and Sel. And who was Horus? The sun god. Do you follow what I'm saying? S-U-N. But it also says something else. It said by his epithet, Baal or Baal, so that his defeat was synonymous with that of the people. That's in Jeremiah 50:2. As was that of the earlier Canaanite Baal. So the Canaanites were worshiping Nimrod. See, this is what people don't understand. This is who the Masons worship. They worship Nimrod, and that's why they got all these sun symbols. But you know what else? The modern day Christians don't even understand that they are actually worshiping Nimrod. That's why they go to church on Sunday. That's why when you go to a church and you look at the steeple, you see that cross up there, you move down a little further, there's usually a round circular window, and carved out are sunburst symbols. They're worshiping Nimrod. They don't know it. The only difference between the Christians and the Freemasons is that the Freemasons know they are worshiping Nimrod and admit it. But they'll tell you, Masons are not a religion. We're just a fraternity of brotherhood. No, y'all worship Nimrod. And all the evidence suggests that, right? But now, let's move on. Let's go to Mark 6 and verse 1. I want y'all to understand this. Let's look at this other Freemason. Mark 6 and 1. It's two Masons, people. You're going to worship or follow one of them. Mark 6 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him.
Talking about Jesus Christ. Go ahead and read.
And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, from whence hath this man these things?
So they're astonished at his doctrine. They're saying, man, where did he get this stuff from? Go ahead and read.
And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hand?
Now watch the question they ask in verse 3. Go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary?
Wait a minute. Is not this the what?
Carpenter.
Now we read, when we looked it up in the original Hebrew, that the word carpenter and mason was used interchangeably. Didn't we read that? We proved that, right? Now, read that same verse again, but where you put carpenter, put mason there. And you tell me what Jesus Christ's profession was. Go ahead and read.
Is not this the mason, the son of Mary, the brother of James, and Joseph, and Judah, and of Judah, and Simon, and are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him.
Was Jesus a mason?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was a mason, y'all. He had a trade. He was a builder.
Right.
Now, what material he worked with is not specifically mentioned in the Bible. But whenever he did his parables, he mentioned stone when he was talking about building.
That's true.
So that kind of indicates what material he probably literally worked with. But that's beside the point. We showed you that carpenter and mason are translated from the same Hebrew word. So you could have easily have wrote, is this the mason? Jesus was a literal mason, sisters and brothers, but we're going to show you he was also a spiritual mason and therefore commands all of his followers to be masons too. So when I say I'm a Freemason, yes I am, because my Lord and Master was a mason, literally and spiritually. Let's go. Let's move this on. Let's go to Matthew 16. Let's see how Jesus taught. What type of language he used. Oh, absolute Bible truth. Now they claiming they Freemasons. We sure are. Just like we said we were Lucifer. We all that. We Lucifer, but we proving it all out the book. All out the book, right? And we're going to show you that he tells you to build. We're going to show you that. All out the book. Can't deny this. We looking up words and just getting definitions. We showed you that the same word used interchangeably. Sometimes they translated it in the English, carpenter. Sometimes they translated it mason. But it's translated from the same Hebrew word. And we looked it up instead of any material. Can't get around that right there, can you? Matthew 16 and 15. Go ahead and read.
He said unto them, but whom say ye that I am?
Because he was asking his disciples, who do people say I am? And they were like, some people say you one of the prophets rose from the dead, or some people say you Elijah. And he asked them, but who do you, my disciples, say I am? Go ahead and read.
And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Say, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Watch what Jesus says. Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven.
He said, flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you, my Father which is in heaven. It was a divine revelation that Peter had. Go ahead and read.
And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter.
He said, I say unto you, thou art Peter. From the Greek word petros, which means a little stone or pebble, a small rock. Go ahead.
And upon this rock I will build my church.
Upon this rock I will what, my church?
Build my church.
Was he talking about literally building a church on a literal rock? No. He was talking about spiritually building a church on a spiritual rock. But what was that spiritual rock? The Catholics will tell you that it was Peter. No, he was not talking about Peter. He did not say, on you will I build my church, Peter. He did not say that. What was he talking about building on? Peter's confession that you are the Christ, the Son of God. That's what we're built on. The belief that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, or more specifically, Jesus Christ himself. He is the rock that we are built on. But notice what he said. Look what language he's using. On this rock will I build my church. What do Masons do? They build. Makes sense now, don't it? Look at the language he's using. Look at his parables he's using. He was a spiritual Mason. That's what Jesus was. And a literal one. On this rock will I build my church. Build. Look at the language. He don't mean literal, just like the satanic Masons don't call themselves Masons because they're literally building something. It's symbolic. But they're not building on Jesus Christ. They're building on Nimrod, which means ultimately they're building on Satan. But let's finish. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to, still in Matthew, turn over to chapter 7. Chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. This is the other Mason, y'all. Nimrod is one Mason. Jesus Christ is the other. One of them is Satan's Mason. One of them is God's Mason. The ones that follow Nimrod are Satan's Masons. The ones that follow Jesus Christ and believe in him are God's Masons. Maybe it don't sound too far-fetched why we call ourselves Freemasons. We are Freemasons. I'm even break down to y'all why we call ourselves Freemasons. Not just Masons, we are Freemasons. You follow what I'm saying? Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and do of them, I would liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock.
Which what his house upon the rock?
Which built his house upon a rock.
Which what?
Build.
What do Masons do?
Build.
Why is Jesus in all his parables likening his believers unto Masons? Because he was the true master Freemason. That's why he keep using these parables about building. And we're going to show you all through the book. That's what they were doing. Because Jesus was a Mason. I actually believe that's why he was a literal carpenter by trade. Because it reflected what he spiritually came to do. To build.
He probably worked with stone, probably.
And he probably worked with stone. But it don't make no difference whether he worked with stone or with wood. Because the original definition was Mason. And he just had to use another word to tell specifically a Mason of what. It don't matter what material you use. You still building something. Right? But we seen from the parables, he keep talking about stone, because he talking about rocks. So we know spiritually, he was dealing with stone, wasn't he? Spiritually, right? But keep reading.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not.
It fell not. Why didn't it fall?
For it was founded upon a rock.
It was founded upon a rock. See, that's what y'all don't understand about absolute Bible truth. That's why when y'all look at us and y'all see all these people coming at us trying to knock us down or take us out, they don't seem to be able to do it. Why? Because we found it on that rock. What he said is somebody trying to come against this doctrine, because he said, whosoever believe these sayings, my doctrine, I'm going to liken him to a man who built this house on a rock. We have a very strong foundation. That's what he's talking about, and we're going to deal with that foundation a little bit more too. We have a very strong foundation. Who is that foundation? Jesus Christ. Go ahead and read.
And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not.
But everyone who heareth the sayings of Jesus, but don't do them, what's going to happen to them?
Shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand.
You're going to be likened to a foolish man who built this house upon the sand. Yes, you got other Masons out there who are spiritually building, but what is their foundation? It's not Jesus Christ. And if it's not Jesus Christ, it's automatically sand. Go ahead and read.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
And it was a great fall. Just like with the Tower of Babel. It was a great fall. Because these people who teaching this false doctrine is built on sand. So it's easy for somebody with truth to come and just tear that house down. But notice what Jesus keeps saying. Whosoever listens to my sayings going to be as a wise man. Notice that word wise, wisdom, we're going to deal with that. Who built his house upon a rock. We're not dealing with literal houses. We're not dealing with literal buildings. We're not dealing with literal rocks. All of this is symbolic. And if you are the builder, what does that make you if you believe in Jesus Christ? A Mason? You are a Mason. But let's keep reading. Let's go to Matthew chapter 21. Look at all these parables Jesus is using. Notice in all his parables, he keeps talking about building something. Have y'all noticed that? Building. Why? Because he's a Mason. And I'm going to show you that he not only was a Mason, but a Freemason. Well, why do they call themselves Freemasons, Josh? The satanic ones. Well, they don't really know, but most people think it's from the French word frère maçon, which means brother Mason. You know, they consider it a brotherhood. But I'm going to show you why we call ourselves Freemasons. But then again, so was Jesus Christ. And we just proved that, didn't we? And we're going to keep proving it. Matthew 21:42. Matthew 21 and 42. Go ahead and read.
Jesus said unto them, Did ye never read in the scriptures the stone which the builders rejected?
Have you never read in the scriptures the stones which the builders rejected? We're not talking about literal builders, but what are builders? Masons. The stones which the Masons rejected, and yes, the satanic Freemasons that meet on Thursday with the little symbols, they reject Jesus. Even though they tell you, oh, any religion can join and be a Mason. It's just a brotherhood, but when you get up in them upper levels, they're going to let you know you can't be dealing with Jesus. You follow what I'm saying? It said the stone that the builders rejected. Look at all these parables about building and stones. Go ahead and read.
The same.